I am aware it's been quite some time since I made a One Piece video for the channel, but I do still talk about it on Twitch. Check the description. Description has everything you need to know in there, all the links where you can find me everywhere on social medias and whatnot. I am not going to heavily edit this. I have a lot of thoughts, so I mostly just want to speak, and I hope that's okay with you guys. But this Joyboy stuff has honestly been highly intriguing, and I was worried about it, and I can't stop thinking about it. So I need to get my thoughts out there. Let me know what you think about what I have to say, and let's hop right into this discussion. Like the video. 忍びじゃなくてジャマイカボーイ不動で育った making noise 四六時中かかってこい It don't matter though Young nigga from Canada Brought from that bullshit and go like a matador 行けたら行くわ毎日俺のゴールへ書き出す Allow me to kind of start from the beginning just so I can kind of encapsulate everything that I've been thinking about and how I got to this point today. Because if you kind of check out my last two streams, which is 1043 and 1044, you can see my thought progression when I'm thinking about all the moving parts happening here with the Joyboy stuff. You have to understand that I'm not really a headcanon theory person. That's not really my forte, and while I'll have the conversation, I'll talk about it. I'm generally a person that likes to deconstruct and analyze things that I know and comprehend and understand. When I'm speculating and I'm trying to prognosticate what's going to happen, I'm kind of out of my element a little bit. So that being said, Joyboy is one of those few things in One Piece, though I always knew it was important, I never particularly pondered about it deeply. Now that it's happening, now that we're in the thick of it, now I'm thinking about it and trying to kind of wrap my head around exactly what it is I believe about the Joyboy thing. Because I wasn't necessarily sure if Joyboy was a person, a title, a spirit. Would Luffy have two souls in one body type of thing? And then we start to really dive into the theme of free will versus fate and destiny. Because I think Oda can really play with that stuff there because Luffy wants to be free. And I know that we've been having this like discourse about, Luffy being kind of a child of destiny, things of that nature. And while that's not inherently a good or bad thing, it's not something I particularly personally ever wanted for Luffy. I like that he's, a kind of free-spirited kind of guy. So I had to kind of, formulate my thoughts there. So now that now I think we understand it a little bit deeper, where it's like what Luffy truly just did was awaken his devil fruit. And when I read 1043, the most important thing for me to know, and it's still really high on my list of what's essential right now, is why now? I have seen Luffy been defeated from East Blue all the way up until Onigashima or Wano, right? So he's taken L's. He's been in dire situation. He's lost multiple times in the arc. He's been at death's door at the brink. How come right now in this very moment did he awaken his devil fruit? Is it because he's on Wano? Is it because Momo's talking to Jusina and all of these and the right circumstances were happening for him to awaken this ability? Is it because he awakened his advanced Conqueror's Haki and that like kind of did something to his body and activated it? Because we don't necessarily know what the criteria or what the things you need to do is to awaken your devil fruit. Is it different depending on the person and the ability? Is it specifically done depending on what class of devil fruit you are? We don't entirely know. So I do find it very interesting that it's happening right now in this moment, and I want to know what the reason is for that. Another thing that I think is interesting was the Sun God Nika interpretation stuff. So from what I know and understand, and anyone in the comments feel free to correct me because this is not something that I particularly researched. I'm kind of taking what the community and people that I've heard say it's a free value. But the Sun God Nika is not necessarily the fact that he is literally like Apollo type, like the god of the sun. It's kind of just something he's been associated with because he's like a bright warrior of liberation type of thing. And that's what Luffy and Joyboy are supposed to kind of be. And with that, it's not to say that Luffy's going to have all these fire powers or anything of the sort. Not that he hasn't used flame-like abilities. I was worried that with this mythical Zoan reveal and stuff, I thought that maybe he was going to start busting out all of these like sun blast and sunbeams on some scanner, praise the sun. Not cruel sun. Someone in my chat made the joke, joy sun, because, Luffy is laughing and everything. So there is that. Then I thought about Shanks, Who's Who, the Gomu Gomu no Mi, the world government, how that all kind of came full circle in a very interesting way, in my opinion. Because the Who's Who stuff wasn't moving me. He actually, I think, is the first person that I can remember truly brings up the sun god and how they worship him and everything. And mythology and, folklore can get a little
weird throughout time. So maybe it's just that people believed he was the son of the god. It wasn't really that. But sorry, that was a small tangent. So did Shanks know this when he had the Gum Gum fruit, the Gomu Gomu no Mi? Did he know this? Is that why he took it from Who's Who? Did no one else really find it weird that with a world with all of these devil fruits, not right? Who's Who lost the Gomu Gomu no Mi, and the world government was like pretty much F you, you suck, you stink, you're exiled, we don't want you. Like, I'm not saying he shouldn't have been punished for that kind of failure and losing a devil fruit, but it's like the punishment to me didn't match the crime. I thought it was too severe, but now knowing that this is a fruit that the world government has been trying to get their hands on for 800 years, and that is truly the mythical Zoan, the Hito no Mi model sun god Nika, I think this all makes sense now. And the world government has been known to lie and change up the historical truth of things that happened in the past and even erase it, delete it completely. So this is not out of the world government's kind of like jurisdiction of doing stuff like that. So it all makes sense. I will add that just personally for me, the only reason that I do not like it is because Luffy is becoming, to me, as the story progresses, very, very special and unique. He's already got the lineage with Garp and Dragon, and these aren't inherently a good or bad thing. You decide what it is for you. I'm just telling you why it kind of bothers me. I've always liked that Luffy was in the Paramecia class of devil fruit because it's the most common type of devil fruit, and honestly, Paramecias have been looked down a lot by Logias and even Zoans to some degree. It's kind of like the superhuman class where everyone can kind of get that ability because it's the most common one, and I like that he was there. Now he's part of the literal rarest class and type of devil fruit, mythical Zoan. And just like, if someone doesn't know, I wasn't a fan of him even having a Rogers hat. I think those are like really heavy-handed, hand-holdy, like, you see, he's supposed to be like the second coming to Roger, and I'm not really a fan of that, even though I know this is a story that has inherited will. It's just a personal thing. It's not. I'm not saying it's bad for One Piece. I'm just saying, me, Nye Hemmings, with all my bias, all of my subjectivity, I'm not particularly a fan of that more often than not. There's obviously scenarios and cases in which I think it works. Execution is everything. So yeah, there was that. So the world government, Who's Who, Shanks having it and losing it. Is that why Shanks pulled up on the government? Was it to talk about the Gum Gum fruit? Who knows? But we have the truth about it. However, I will say this. Personally, Luffy being a mythical Zoan actually makes a lot of sense when I kind of think about how I personally ponder about Luffy's abilities and Paramecias and whatnot. We know that Katakuri is a special Paramecia. He's kind of the outlier in that category, if you will. And he can come across as very Logia-like because of his mochi. And Das Bones, Luffy, and Katakuri to me were always kind of outliers in the Paramecia class. Now, again, Katakuri was highlighted as special Paramecia, so it's fine. Now, why did I say that? Paramecias, generally speaking, get an ability. You have the ability to manipulate poison. You have the ability to manipulate trees and something like that. Logias change the composition of your body where you become living lightning, living sand, living darkness, living light, whatever the case may be. Luffy and Das Bones and Katakuri to me were always like this weird hybrid of the two. Where it's like Katakuri got the ability to use mochi and turn his body to use mochi, create mochi and whatnot, but it's almost like his body is constantly mochi. Luffy has the ability to expand, stretch, and compress himself, but his body is constantly rubber, therefore negating blunt force trauma. You feel what I'm saying? Das Bones has the ability to turn all the parts of his body into blades and saws and things that will cut you to ribbons, but it also made his body as tough as steel. You feel what I'm saying? So I guess with Luffy being a mythical Zoan, it kind of makes sense to me as to why he has that like ability to stretch, but also his body is rubber. It kind of comes full circle. On top of the fact that I do believe that Luffy is not going to have a hybrid form because it is still a model human fruit. What does the hybrid of a human look like if you're already human? If an animal eats a Hito no Mi of any sort, then I could understand it. So you probably won't have like a traditional hybrid form. Now to speak about Gear 5th and its design, I can't speak on its practicality yet of how it works and what it looks like. I'm not what it looks like how it like works in combat. I really like it because personally speaking, I am a fan of like very wacky, zany, over the top stuff. So Luffy going full like Pegasus Toon World, Toon Force, Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, Popeye the Sailor, whatever you want to call it, is totally okay with me. As a matter of fact, I have somewhat thought about him being able to completely kind of shift around the expansion and contraction and compression and stretching of his body very willy-nilly and loosely like this, and I'm kind of a fan of it. I like it. We'll see what other things come along with it. It seems like his Conqueror's hockey is being flexed a lot more here, but we'll see what else it can do. But I have no problem with it going Looney Tunes or whatever. And for the people who wanted that weird hockey man, glowy, edgy looking Luffy, look, man, I can't speak for your personal preference or what you want, but for you to ask for that and be disappointed, to me, is a very strange thing, being 1,044 chapters into One Piece, because Oda's never been like that. This is a story that I find kind of perplexing when people complain about something like Batman's design. Shout out to Bruce Wayne from the Beast Pirates, the Run of the Gifters, being like he looks lame, or it doesn't look as cool or serious, blah, blah, blah. This is a young, cool school. The X, like, man, complain. Because One Piece has always been wacky, crazy, zany, over the top, kind of like just loose with it. You know, machines rode balloons up to the moon. Like, One Piece is highly unserious in that kind of sense. It's still very serious with certain themes and moments and whatnot, but I'm saying, like, it's always been like that. To me, for you to complain about things like this at this point in One Piece is an exercise in futility, and I think you sound annoying and stupid. Accept it or don't. I'm not even saying you have to like that the artwork is the way it is and characters look how it is, but at this point, you need to be okay with it or don't. Stop complaining about it. Luffy looks perfect for Gear 4th as far as 5th as far as I'm concerned. With the sun part, his hair looks kind of fiery. That's very cool. The Joyboy stuff and him having laughter and whatnot coming in, I really like it. He's not all, I'm super serious and edgy and dark and gritty. He's just like, let's fight. Like, it's fun, you know? I like that. And it's honestly been very consistent with how Luffy's transformations and things in that like realm work. Let's take it all the way back to Mizu Luffy. He drank the whole barrel of water. Mizu Luffy! And his body like, his belly looks like he like drank too much beer type of thing and springs a leak. Now, it looks goofy. It looks impractical. Even Crocodile got mad like, are you effing with me? Stop playing around. Luffy said, I'm always serious. And what did he do? He spat the water out like he's kind of like a water faucet. Got a Crocodile wet, and then now he can hit him easily. Looks goofy, actually very powerful and useful, very practical. I think Gear 2nd is cool. I think Gear 3rd depends on who you are. He was shifting like the weight around his body, so again, very, very powerful technique. Hurts very hard. He hits very hard. His body parts are very big, but goofy. But still, Rob Lucci didn't take it seriously, tried to take a hit from it, and that ended up hurting him really badly. Gear 4th, Doflamingo again, laughed. He looks kind of big and inflated. He's bouncing around. He can't even stay still, but he's combining the rubber components of his body with armament to be like hard but Gomu. He's using the elasticity of it to fly through the air and all kinds of crazy stuff in that when he kind of ricochets it and like he brings it in like a cannon and then he like boom explodes with it. Like, again, kind of looks silly, very effing practical. That is Luffy. It was very consistent. So I don't know why everyone thought the mold was going to break here or whatever. And I honestly think that he still looks pretty cool, all things considered. So I did find that to be a weird complaint that I did see. I just wanted to kind of highlight that very quickly. I think I already spoke about Luffy being in a mythical zone and being a very special snowflake, and that's not particularly appealing to me personally, but it is what it is. I'm not mad at it. Viz did clarify a couple of things, I think, if you want to take that transition at face value. I thought that reading it kind of made me kind of understand everything happening better. And I want to speak about it being the most ridiculous power in the world, because I do think people are taking that statement out of context a little bit. Ridiculousness does not mean the most powerful. And you have to understand that other devil fruits have had certain titles and connotations associated with it. The Rumble Rumble Goro Goro no Mi, Eneru's lightning fruit, has been known as the invincible devil fruit because you become lightning. How do you fight lightning? It's been known as that. We know about certain things related to the Opi Opi no Mi with Law's devil fruit being able to kind of make you ageless or give you immortality, depending on what translation you go by, with the surgery or whatnot. It was said that Whitebeard's devil fruit, the Gura Gura no Mi, which I believe is it the Quake fruit, right? That one has the power to destroy the world. And just very loosely, I think in a Viver card, I believe. I don't think it was a Vivi. I think it was a Viver card. Oda had said that Akainu had like the most attack potency or attack power with the like Magma no Mi Magma fruit. So don't take this too crazily or too seriously. Like you're just gonna start like eating the sun like he's Ed from Ed, Ed and Eddie or whatever. That's not gonna happen. The concept and idea of it being ridiculous is that with it awakened, and Luffy even says this, like, oh, it feels like I can do everything I've always wanted now because his devil fruit's awakening, meaning that maybe before this he felt limited in what he couldn't do with the devil fruit ability, though in his mind there was things he wanted to do, which means it was just limited by his imagination. With that limiter removed, you're seeing what he's doing now. So please do not take that crazily. Don't go off the deep end, and don't downplay it either. Kind of find a middle ground within that. So but personally speaking, I think this is true for all devil fruits in general, especially the Paramecia class. I think what you can and can't do with your ability is kind of tailor suited to how much you can, how you use your creativity level, so to speak. I probably have a lot more thoughts I want to get out there, just scrambling around in my head and my brain, but I don't want to keep you guys here longer than I need to be. I can't think of it right now, so I will not ramble more than I have to, but I do think that we're at a crossroads. This has recontextualized a lot of things in One Piece, and I actually found all the memes this week to be funny. I saw one where Luffy says Gomu Gomu no, and it has like the picture of the meme of Tyler the Creator. He's like, so you effing lied. Like, Nika, no! We're gonna start seeing that. No, I'm kidding. I don't think his attack names will change, but he might have a special and specific naming scheme for certain attacks just in this form. Let me know what you guys have thought about the last 2 chapters of One Piece. Oh, by the way, he's not reincarnated. He's not like, got like some like demon devil hollow in him like that. And just to say this real quick, Zoan fruits have always been different in the fact that them having their own will thing makes complete sense to me if we think about the fact that any inanimate object that we've seen turn into a devil fruit has always been a Zoan type. Think about, I believe it was Mr. 5 and not Miss Golden Week. I don't remember her name. The mole lady. I can't remember her name right now. I'm sorry. But they had the model Dachshund dog, Lasso, the cannon, Smiley with the HS5 gas. I can't remember what it's called, the gas, whatever. Smiley's for Smiley, right? Smiley, and then Funkfried. They've always been Zoans, so keep that in mind. So there's probably something special about that class just naturally as a result of it. Y'all be safe though. Thank you for listening. Like the video, subscribe, and definitely come to the Twitch stream. Check the description. Pledge to the Patreon. Y'all be safe. Shout out to the Patreon gang, my CBLs, the Priests of Fire, but especially my tier 3 subscribers, the 5th Zen God. Shout out to Abdel, Brian, Chromizone, Tris, Cayenne, Chris, Miles, Revenant, Scobe, Shot It to Your Body, Simi, and Sunny Kathapali. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you.